And it looks like we are live. Welcome to our Columbus community. We are starting and will soon convene our public engagement community meeting.
So good afternoon, everybody. I'm Scott Varner, the Executive Director of Family Engagement and Partnerships here in Columbus City Schools. And if it's okay, we'll go ahead and convene our meeting of the Public Engagement Committee. And if I can begin by calling the roll. We'll begin with our co-chairs, Vice President Reyes.
Here.
Vice President Dr. Pierce.
I'm not the Vice President, but Dr. Pierce
I'm sorry.
is here.
Co-chair Dr. Pierce, excuse me. Thank you. Then I'll go through the members of our committee. Mr. Aaron from Rickenbacker Woods. Mr. Afswa from Ethiopian Twadendo Social Services. Ms. Beal from Columbus City Schools. Ms. Dawkins from the James Center for Health Equity. Mr. Howisher from We Amplify Voices. Ms. Johnson from the Department of Neighborhoods of the City of Columbus. Ms. Kraus from I Know I Can. Mr. Richardson, one of our parents. Dr. Robinson from Ohio University. And I see them here, but if they can unmute just quickly to say here.
Raise their hand.
Here, thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Robinson. Mr. Seward from Congresswoman Beatty's office. Mr. Youngman with Franklinton Cycle Works. Miss Augenstein, I believe I see her on.
Here.
Mr. Barnes from one of our teachers.
Here.
Thank you. I don't see Miss Booker or Mr. Robinson from City Year. We have Mr. Moore. Miss Street from Ohio State. Ms. Najira from Children's Defense Fund. And finally, I also see board member, Mr. Ragland.
Here.
Thank you. And with that, I'll turn it back over to our co-chairs, Vice President Reyes, Dr. Pierce.
Thank you. Dr. Pierce, do we just want to review the agenda first?
Yes, definitely. So on our agenda for today, we will discuss the purpose of our meeting, which is to discuss, again, the purpose of our Public Engagement Committee. We will then extend another warm welcome and thank you to all of our Public Engagement Committee members. We will then move into discussing drafts of revised mission and vision statements for the Public Engagement Committee. We will then share our 2020 and 2021 meeting schedule. We will then tee it up for our December meeting by sharing some next steps, specifically our subcommittees and working groups to help our committee achieve our goals and align the work with our mission and vision moving forward. We will then adjourn after we discuss all those items. Do we have a motion to accept our agenda for today?
So moved.
Second.
I
I second that motion. Lolita Augenstein.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Excellent. I will now turn it over to our Vice President Reyes to discuss, again, the purpose of our Public Engagement Committee and to provide an overview for the great work that we do.
Perfect. Thank you, Dr. Pierce. Let me make our. So for some, this is a refresher. For others, it's new. So again, welcome. Thank you for joining us today. we're doing a refresher today to ensure as we start building our public engagement forum and committee work, we can continue to discuss and highlight why we're here. So I'm just going to read real quickly. The purpose of the Public Engagement Committee is to serve as the steering committee to develop a recommendation to the board for a strategic short and long-term linkage plan with internal and external groups, primarily around the topic of student achievement. Secondly, to research and recommend processes, times, specific topics, questions to be posed, and a consistent message to initiate linkages. To establish and recommend a budget necessary for the board to conduct its linkages, and to assume responsibility for linkage debriefing, compilation, and presentation to the board. That is predominantly the purpose of our public engagement committee and why we are here. Just briefly, just wanted to say that in the previous meetings, many of the committee members talked a little bit about the why they joined the organization, why they chose to be on the public engagement committee. We know there is a charter. We know there are some descriptions. We know that we also have the opportunity to look at things like that as we're moving forward, and that's what we're going to be discussing as we move forward. And then we know we're a little short on some of our members today. But we wanted to make sure that we since we announced the meeting, that we're going to have a meeting today and talk through that a little bit. So I'll say welcome and thank you to all those who are here today and those who are serving, and I'll allow Dr. Pierce to do the same.
And I will join my co-chair as well in welcoming and thanking you all for your service, not just to this committee, but your service to our district. You all represent the rich diversity that we have, not just here in Central Ohio, but the rich diversity of stakeholders, partners, committed parents, educators, and staff that are coming together to support our students and our district. Not just in this COVID-19 time, because many of you all have been dedicated way before now, and you've stepped up to the challenge as we face COVID-19 to even say, how can we do more? How can we help with the needs that are becoming apparent given what we're dealing with COVID-19? And so on behalf of, again, our entire board, our students and our community, we want to say thank you. Because we know that the time that you all give is the most precious gift that you have. You can't get your time back. You can't make that up. And so we thank you for sharing your time with us, for sharing your expertise with us, and for your dedication to move our district forward. So thank you so much. The great work that we have been doing has been a little bit different given COVID-19, and our staff member, Scott Varner, is on, so he can definitely speak to some of the ways that our Department of Engagement has adjusted to meet those needs of this unique and uncertain time that we're going through. But we know that that work can only be done with a guiding mission and vision. And so for our past two meetings, we really spent some time reflecting on what our current mission and vision are, and if they align with where we want to move forward and how we see this committee doing the work to get our mission done. And so I want to thank everybody that in fact took the opportunity to go to our Google Docs and submit their drafted mission and vision statements. And so to tee up for our next meeting, because we will in fact vote on these revisions at our December 9th meeting. Again, we'll start at 3:30. I want to again tee it up to share that submitted mission and vision statement that we all discussed in our last meeting in September. And so I'll start with our mission. The mission that we again all discussed and really came to consensus around was that the mission of the Public Engagement Committee is to assist Columbus City Schools to continue to advance, evolve, and grow their capacity meeting the changing needs of the community. Again, coming together to doing that great work, our committee members reached consensus around a revised mission that states the Public Engagement Committee is to assist Columbus City Schools to continue to advance, evolve, and grow their capacity meeting the changing needs of the community. We know that the mission isn't just, that's not enough. We need more. We know that you have to couple a mission with a strong vision of where we see ourselves in the future. And so again, by consensus, our committee discussed and came again to consensus around a vision that states the following. The vision of the Public Engagement Committee is to cultivate a mutual collaborative environment where we engage public, nonprofit, and private sector to innovatively advance Columbus City Schools on a continual path of meeting the changing needs of the community. Again, by consensus, we understood that it wasn't enough to simply revise our mission, but we also had to think about where we see ourselves in the future and how this committee can contribute to the greatness of our Columbus City Schools. So again, our vision is that the Public Engagement Committee is cultivating a mutual collaborative environment where we engage public, nonprofit, and private sector to innovatively advance Columbus City Schools on a continual path of meeting the changing needs of our community. Our next action step will be at our December meeting to have our entire committee vote on whether or not we accept those mission and vision statements as being the grounding mission and vision statements moving our work forward. At this time, we'll open it up for additional discussion or feedback, again, on those two shared missions and visions.
So I just wanted to reiterate, not reiterate, but talk about a little bit, Dr. Pierce, about the committee work and how this came to be. As you all recall, Dr. Pierce mentioning the Google Docs that we had access to. Committee members provided a per homework given at our first meeting, provided submission and vision statements. We went through an exercise. Dr. Pierce walked us through an exercise to kind of take a lot of those statements, reword them. At the end of that meeting, we were able to come up with this writing. There was a lot of great discussion, a lot of other options and wording that we could have used. Like Dr. Pierce stated, this was how we came to consensus. We will, it's still open because we know that we were able to see it once at the end of the meeting. You're seeing it again today. So we hope to, when the rest of our members come on board, to discuss it on the next meeting and solidify what the final mission and vision statement for the 2021 and beyond, hopefully. But it is adapted to where this committee sees the work that we're doing and how it will interconnect with the work that the Columbus City Schools is doing. So I just wanted to add that.
Any additional comments, feedback, concerns, again, with our proposed revised mission and vision for the Public Engagement Committee? Thank you so much, Co-Chair. Okay, seeing none, I will close that item and we'll move forward on our agenda. So the next thing then on our agenda is discussion around building our structure and setting our expectations, specifically sharing our meeting schedule for the remainder of 2020 and 2021. So our next meeting for the Public Engagement Committee will take place on Wednesday, December 9th at 3:30 p.m. via Zoom. Again, our next meeting for the Public Engagement Committee will take place on Wednesday, December 9th, 2020 at 3:30 p.m. That will be our last official meeting of 2020. Beginning in the year of 2021, we will move to a bi-monthly meeting schedule. Our first meeting will take place in February. Please visit our website through Columbus City Schools to learn the specific dates, again, for our entire year of 2021 for the Public Engagement Committee. Again, those meetings will be bi-monthly beginning in 2021. Those meetings will start at 3:30 p.m. I'll open the floor for any comments or discussion related to our meeting schedule for 2020 and 2021. Hearing none, I'll just add that you have the commitment of both myself as well as my co-chair, Vice President Reyes, that we will ensure that public notice is given for our committee meetings moving forward. And you will ensure that we make every effort to engage not just our committee members, but also interested members of the community that just want to lean into the great work that we're doing through this committee. So then that then brings us to our agenda item 6, which is to continue to tee up for our December 9th meeting. So we've talked about how we're going to vote on the proposed revised mission and vision statements. The next thing that we are going to do in that meeting is to have each committee member select a subcommittee or a working group to serve on during the year 2021. I will turn it over to Vice President Reyes because she gives a great overview of the committee structure as it relates to programs that we want to move forward with in our 2021 year.
Thank you, Dr. Pierce. So just wanted to discuss, we had shared a document that we provided that kind of described some of the activity work and some of the programs that the Public Engagement Committee had been participating in the last several years. One of the goals that we have is to ensure that we are providing sustainable programming. So not a once and done, not a flavor of the month or anything like that, but to ensure that whatever strategically we're making decisions on, that this is something that can be sustainable, not only in the exchange and the change of board members as we come on and off the board, but committee members and even staff to make sure that if the district says that it's viable and it is working, and it is fulfilling the mission and vision of the public engagement in correlation with what the district is moving forward, we want to make sure that our families and our community knows this is something I can expect every year. This is something I can participate. And perhaps, we'll see our own children participate in being members of this public engagement committee and see and being able to participate in some of the programs. So we're outlining two separate types of committees. The first type of committee work is committee members involving in like outlined activities, just what I shared. So there are 4 programs that we're asking people to participate. So this is going to be the work that's going to happen between the December meeting and the February meeting. So just because we're not meeting doesn't mean we're not working. So the first one is a community ambassador program. So there is a ambassador program outline that we adopted or was created a few years ago that had some elements from other districts that we learned from the Council of Great City Schools. So we want to continue that work where it helps community members learn about the district, be able to communicate that information out to the public. So we built an ambassador, a community ambassador that we know that it's very difficult to understand some of the work that we do. And we want to make sure that the community knows and understands and is able to, so we have more people to be able to go out there and communicate that work to others that maybe can't attend our meetings because of other commitments, but want to still remain engaged and informed about the work that the Columbus City Schools does. And we'll provide more of that information. Our annual Children's Day, we have been celebrating Children's Day for about 5 years. I think we're going to year 6. That is a result of information that we were provided by our community stating that they wanted to highlight our children, let the community know about the many talents that our children possess, and also open up our schools to our community, to our taxpayers, to the people that really want to see what's going on down the street. Though I live in the community, perhaps I don't have a child in the district, but I still care about the education and the welfare of my community and would like to get involved. And I want to feel welcome in the buildings that are in my neighborhood. So it's a day to celebrate our children. It's a day for our children to highlight their gifts, whether it's singing, whether it's clapping. Our kindergartners have clapped to a song, or even at times we have some of our older students working with our younger students and teaching them chess and other of the activities that we have. So we invite community members. It's a really nice program, and we do that every year. So we're looking for committee members to be involved with Children's Day. And then we have our third option is our Hall of Fame. Our Hall of Fame is also a program that used to exist in Columbus City Schools. It's an opportunity for us to highlight and recognize Columbus City School graduates that are doing important things in our community or around the nation, and recognizing them. And we have our own Hall of Fame. It does have a component of some fundraising, but it does take some work. And the Hall of Fame, the thing that makes it unique, it is a community-run program. So it really comes from our community, gives an opportunity for our community to say this person is important to us, versus a lot of times we get feedback and say, well, that person got nominated because they know the board knows them, or somebody. Well, this is an opportunity for us to recognize the people that are working right alongside us, from the person that is set up the neighborhood library to the person that is a current elected official, or a songwriter or singer. So we will be building that committee and releasing the information as it gets built. Our fourth committee is a needs assessment. We need to go out and get the information and still continue to ensure that we have the information necessary so that we are abiding by what the community needs, what the community feels engagement really is. So we will be building that. Thank you to Mr. Barnes, who has helped create a grid that we'll be using for that. So that's the fourth committee under the activity section. The second part of our engagement plan is really our overarching work. It really hits on our engagement. So as we have the marketing, as you all know, we have an opportunity to ensure that our community, our partners, our nonprofit organizations, our for-profit know about Columbus City Schools and the great work that we're doing. So how do we, as a community, a public engagement committee made up of community members and constituencies, help our Columbus City Schools ensure that the marketing that we're doing is reaching the appropriate audiences? So and it did kind of going hand in hand with that is our communications to ensure, we get a lot of feedback. You didn't communicate this, we didn't communicate that, it didn't go this way. So how can we help Columbus City Schools ensure that we're utilizing all the appropriate tools and resources to get the appropriate messages out to our community in the way that our community wants to receive it? The third and the last committee under that section is fundraising. We have always talked about how schools are funded. And one of the things that we want to do is explore other ideas. There are some board members and administration that are exploring fundraising anywhere from foundations to what other districts are doing. So it's very important that as uh, laws change, as tax laws change, as money gets a little bit more stringent, that we look at all the opportunities from grants to foundations to anything that would help fund and make our buildings, our school, our teaching, our access to resources better. So we'll have that under fundraising. Oh, I'm sorry, I did forget one. We will have, we'll also talk a little bit about operations. So we'll have a subcommittee on operations. So we have a document that kind of describes a little bit of what some of these committees will be doing. But again, we are revamping public engagement. So there may be some changes that occur in defining what these programs and what our initiatives and our end result will be. And we're looking forward to the work of this committee and those interested in those subcommittees. Any questions? And we'll discuss them more on the next meeting. So
Excellent. Well, seeing no questions or comments, we'll just open the floor to see if there are any announcements that anyone wants to share. If there's any updates from Scott Varner over in our Department of Engagement that you'd like to share before we adjourn.
Well, I'm going to join you in thanking all the members of the committee, those that are here especially, but all of the members, because I think you said it right, that they are our champions. We look to them to help champion and talk about, Columbus City Schools and the work we're doing. So we appreciate them not only in being that voice, but helping us find the best way to echo those messages across our city. And Dr. Pierce, as you've often talked about, part of engagement is about the conversations that we're having. And, for our Department of Engagement, conversation has really been a key part of the work we've been doing. Everything from our virtual family engagement sessions that we do, twice a week, and continue to see some good response to that, to even, being out at our buildings as families are coming up to pick up lunch each day, or working through our family ambassadors to be, part of those virtual conversations, trying to share messages. So I appreciate that a lot of the focus is on how we continue those conversations, grow those conversations, and make those conversations more impactful. Thank you.
And Dr. Pierce, I just wanted to mention, since Lolita Augustine's on the line, one of the, there's not a subcommittee for this, but one of the outcomes of the Public Engagement Committee a few years back was the creation of PTA in a Box. I know, again, we are in a different world with COVID right now, but this is a wonderful time to continue to build our PTAs, PTOs in our buildings. Our students probably need you more than ever. Perhaps there's an opportunity now that some of us are working from home. We don't have to do pickup of our children, and perhaps we can get the little 30 minutes or 1 hour to dedicate to meet as parents and ensure that, some of the feedback that we get here, we have the representative, PTA President Lolita Augustine on public engagement, so that we can ensure that we're getting, even though we also have other parents on here, Mr. Barnes, we're getting our information and feedback from our parents. So we want to make sure our public engagement has a voice from all aspects of our community, if at all possible. So I don't know, Lolita, if you wanted to talk a little bit about PTA, or just reiterate a little bit about PTA in the Box?
When we came up with it, I still have some information from when we were doing that, and it was just such a great idea. It was a community outreach. We got a lot of feedback. We did open a few PTAs from sending that out. I just think that it's really important for parents to be involved in schools, and sometimes it might not even be a PTA. A lot of our schools have different parent groups like the PTA, the PTO. There's even just some parent groups that have come together. I know that there was a group called PEC that was in the Linden area. But when the parents are involved, the school is successful. It's just that's what the data shows. When the kids see their parents coming to the school and they feel like that their parents value their education, then they value their education. So it's just a great opportunity for us to even allow the parents to know that they are welcomed in the schools and they are wanted there, and they are a part, that Columbus City Schools want them to be a part of the their students' educational plan. And I think it's also an opportunity to invite our community in, because we have some PTAs where it's more community members that are involved sometimes than parents, because parents, some of them have more than one job. They have a lot of responsibilities, so they can't attend meetings. They can't do a lot of things in the school. So they do volunteer from their homes, or probably sometimes do some things at work that they shouldn't do, but they have community members that are holding down the fort for them and making sure that their school is getting the resources that they need from the community, from our stakeholders. So I just think that if that's something that you want to do, I'm on board with that. I heard a couple of committees, and I said I was going to try to say no to joining things a little bit more, but it was some other committees that I thought would be great. And I think that once they get started, a lot of our PTA members, especially since they haven't been in the buildings as much as they want to, because some people just like volunteering and giving back. I think that now that we're doing these meetings live as well, I think that it'll be opportunity for us to find heroes that want to give back. And so we might even be able to find some of those people that we want to honor. Hopefully they can join a PTA or join one of our parent groups or our community groups to support our schools. I'm excited.
I'm excited as well, and I don't think we could have said it any better than you said it just now. You have the great opportunity with the establishment of us being in this virtual space, and hopefully we can still continue to use technology to engage more of our community. And specifically when our website is updated and all of our public engagement committee members are on there, seek them out. Because as Vice President Reyes has shared, we will have a number of committees where they're going to need heroes, they're going to need champions to team up with them and do this great work. So there are a number of ways to get involved with, again, our public engagement committee, through our subcommittee, our working groups, be it if you want to work on Children's Day, be it if you want to come work on PTA in a box, or if you want to have that creative genius to work on fundraising options, to be able to support getting resources into our buildings and into our district. There are a lot of opportunities to connect with our Columbus City Schools through the Public Engagement Committee. We're excited. We look forward to working with you all. We're excited, and we're looking forward to our December meeting. Everybody has homework, and that homework is to make sure that you review the proposed mission and vision statements, so you come prepared on December 9th to vote. And then that second element, and probably just as equally as important as our mission and vision, is really defining and identifying what subcommittees you want to be a part of, so you can begin to reach out to our community, to reach out to our parents, our staff, our community stakeholders, to invite them to do some of the great work through this committee to be able to support our district. So we're extremely excited. And I think that brings us in good timing, ahead of time, actually. We're used to going to 5 o'clock and beyond sometimes. So that brings us in good timing to the end of our meeting. And Vice President, if there's nothing else on your end, we can entertain a motion to adjourn.
Oh, wait, can I say something before we adjourn? And this
Yes,
is just an ideal. I know that, and it's just an ideal. Maybe we can even talk about, or when you come up with the fundraising committee, maybe that can be a space where we can maybe have a party. Well, hopefully after COVID, have an event where we can honor our heroes at maybe a dinner or that's just an idea I want to throw out before we adjourn. But thank you everyone for being on this committee, because all the work that you do does affect my children. And so Columbus City Schools has been a blessing to our family, and we love our teachers, we love our staff, we love everybody that has worked with my kids to help them have educational success. So I want to thank everybody for being here, just for me as a parent, not just as a PTA leader, but just as a parent and a community member. So thank you for being here and giving up your time and your expertise.
You want to make a motion, Ms. Lolita, to adjourn?
Yes, I would like to make a motion to adjourn the meeting. Is there a second?
I'll second.
All right. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All
All
right.
right. Thank you, everybody, for attending our meeting. Again, our next meeting will be on December 9th at 3:30. Please tune in and join us via Zoom, Facebook, and YouTube. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you. Have a great day.
Have a great one.